The gunshot victim came in screaming. Blood pooled fast on the ER floor. 2 residents froze. Dr. Harlan, the ER chief, barked orders, wrong orders. The quiet night nurse, Elena Frost, stepped forward and said one word, "No." Harlan's face went red. "You don't give orders here, nurse." Elena didn't argue. She pulled out her phone, typed 4 words, and hit send. 18 minutes later, 3 black SUVs and a military helicopter landed outside the hospital. They weren't there for the patient. Elena Frost clocked in at 10:47 p.m. She always arrived early. Not to impress anyone, but to prepare her mind for the next 12 hours. St. Jerome's Hospital was mid-tier, busy enough to stay sharp, anonymous enough to disappear. Elena liked it that way. She tied her dark hair back, checked her pockets, and walked onto the floor. The charge nurse, Pam Gwynn, briefed her quickly. Zone 2 tonight. Frequent flyer in bed 6, laceration in 8, psych hold in 10. Elena nodded and went to work. She moved through her tasks with practiced efficiency. Vitals. Medications. Wound prep. No wasted motion. The resident, Dr. Patel, thanked her absently. She didn't reply. That was how her shifts went. Task after task. Patient after patient. Invisible. But at 11:38 p.m., Dr. Marcus Harlan walked onto the floor. Harlan was the ER chief, silver hair, expensive watch, voice like a weapon. He ruled through intimidation. Elena had worked under him for 8 months. He'd spoken to her maybe a dozen times. Tonight, he was in a mood. "Frost," he barked, pointing. Bed 12 just rolled in. Abdominal pain, possible appendicitis. Get him prepped for CT. Labs, 4 access, clean history. Move. Elena worked quickly. For on first attempt. Blood drawn. Thorough history. She noted rebound tenderness and paged radiology. When Harlan returned, everything was done. He glanced at the chart. "Did you order the CT?" "Radiology's notified. Labs processing. Patient stable." He frowned. "Next time, wait for a physician before making decisions." "I followed protocol." "You followed orders. There's a difference." He walked away. Pam, who'd been listening, gave Elena a sympathetic look. Elena said nothing. But something had shifted. At 1:23 a.m., the trauma alert sounded. Motor vehicle collision, multiple victims. EMS 2 minutes out. Elena was already moving. The first patient arrived, young woman, unresponsive, unequal pupils, dropping blood pressure. Dr. Patel froze briefly. Elena stepped in. "Large bore 4. 2 if you can." Dr. Harlan entered. "What do we have?" "Unequal pupils, low BP, decreased LOC. Possible intracranial bleed," Pam said. Harlan assessed quickly. "Get me a CT. Now." Elena glanced at the monitor. BP's dropping. 85/50. She needs stabilization first. Fluids, possible blood products. She's not stable for transport. Harlan's head snapped toward her. "Excuse me. If we move her now without stabilizing pressure, we risk losing her in the scanner." "You're a nurse, Frost. I'm the attending physician. I don't need your recommendations." The room went quiet. Elena stepped back. Understood. They transported the patient. 20 minutes later, she arrested in the CT scanner. They worked for 18 minutes. Dr. Harlan called it at 2:11 a.m. Elena cleaned the trauma bay in silence. Harlan returned. "Don't ever question my judgment in front of the team again. I was offering clinical input. You were overstepping. You've been here 8 months. I've got 20 years of experience. Remember your place." Elena held his gaze. "Crystal." He left. Pam appeared. "You think she could have been saved?" Elena looked at her, something cold flickering in her eyes. "Yes." In the break room, Elena pulled out her phone and stared at a contact labeled TR. She typed, "I'm compromised. Might need an exit." She stared at it. then deleted it. Not yet. But the decision had been made. At 3:52 a.m., the radio crackled. Medic 12 inbound. Priority 1 trauma. Male, 25, single GSW upper left chest. Vitals unstable. ETA 4 minutes. Elena moved to Trauma Bay 1 immediately. Dr. Patel arrived, followed by Harlan. The paramedics rushed in with the patient, young Hispanic male, pale gray, breathing rapid and shallow. BP 70/40. Heart rate 150. They transferred him to the bed. Elena took over ventilations. Breath sounds diminished on the left, a nurse reported. Left hemothorax, Harlan said. Get me a chest tube kit. Elena watched the monitor. Blood pressure kept dropping. Heart rate climbing. He's losing volume fast. We need blood now. Harlan didn't look at her. I'm aware, Frost. The pressure continued to fall. 60/30. Elena scanned the patient. Distended neck veins, muffled heart sounds, refractory hypotension. He's got cardiac tamponade. Harlan looked up sharply. What? The bullet nicked the pericardium. Blood's compressing the heart. He needs pericardiocentesis. Now. I'm not performing a blind needle procedure without ultrasound confirmation. Then get the ultrasound. But if you wait, he'll code. The monitor alarm shrieked. Blood pressure, 50/20. He's going into PEA, Pam said. Elena didn't ask permission. She grabbed the ultrasound probe, placed it on the patient's chest, and angled it upward. Dark fluid surrounded the heart. The chambers were compressed. There. Pericardial effusion. He's in tamponade. Harlan's jaw clenched. Fine. Prep for. The monitor flatlined. He's in arrest. Elena grabbed the spinal needle and advanced it under ultrasound guidance. She felt the pop as it penetrated the pericardium. Dark red blood flowed back. She aspirated. 20 milliliters. 30. 50. The monitor flickered. A heartbeat appeared. Blood pressure began to rise. He's back, Pam exhaled. Elena withdrew the needle and stepped back. He'll need thoracotomy. But he's stable for transport now. Harlan stared at her. What the hell was that? I saved his life. You performed an invasive procedure without my authorization. You were hesitating. He was dying. Harlan's voice dropped. You're not a physician. You're a nurse. Elena's expression went cold. I know exactly what I am. She walked out. In the stairwell, Elena pulled out her phone and typed a message to TR. Situation escalating. Cover blown within 24 hours. Need immediate extraction protocol. She hit send. The reply came 18 minutes later. Stand by. Assets inbound. Do not engage further. Elena closed her eyes. It was done. Elena returned to the floor at 4:31 a.m. She documented the resuscitation precisely, every detail recorded. If there was an investigation, the record needed to be flawless. At 4:52 a.m., the sliding doors opened. 2 men in dark suits walked in. They moved with purposeful economy. They approached the nurse's station. We're looking for Elena Frost. Pam blinked. Who's asking? The older man showed a federal badge, just long enough for Pam to see. We need to speak with her. Now. Elena was standing 10 feet away. She set down her tablet and walked toward them. I'm Elena Frost. The older man's eyes locked onto hers. Ma'am, we need you to come with us. Am I under arrest? No, ma'am. But we need to debrief you. Immediately. Give me 2 minutes to hand off my patients. The younger agent shook his head. Ma'am, this is time sensitive. 2 minutes, Elena repeated. The older man nodded. Elena transferred her patients, pulled off her badge, and set it on the counter. Tell administration I'm taking personal leave. Effective immediately. Elena, Pam started. It's handled. The agents flanked her and escorted her toward the exit. Dr. Harlan stepped out of his office. What's going on? The older agent didn't look at him. Federal matter. Not your concern. She's my employee. The younger agent turned. Sir, step back. Harlan stepped back. Elena didn't look at anyone. They walked out into the cold pre-dawn air. 3 black SUVs waited at the curb. Elena climbed into the middle vehicle without hesitation. The older man, Travers, slid in beside her. The convoy pulled away. What's the threat level? Elena asked. The patient you treated, Luis Delgado, he's not just a gang victim. He's a courier for the Ortiz cartel. And 20 minutes ago, someone ran facial recognition on hospital footage. Your face. They got a hit on your military service record. Elena's jaw tightened. So I'm burned. Partially. Your cover as a civilian nurse is compromised. If the Ortiz network identifies you as former military intelligence, they'll assume you're operational. They'll retaliate. Against the hospital? Against you. Against anyone they perceive as a threat. Elena stared out the window. What happens now? We're extracting you for debriefing. After that, command determines next steps. But right now, you're a liability. What about the staff at the hospital? We're coordinating with local PD for increased security. But the best thing you can do is stay away. Elena nodded slowly. How long was I clean? Travers's voice softened. 2 years, 3 months. Not long enough. No, ma'am. It never is. The convoy arrived at an unmarked facility. A helicopter hovered overhead, rotors churning. Travers opened the door. This way, Major. Elena stepped out into the cold morning air and looked up at the helicopter. For the first time in 2 years, she didn't feel like a nurse. She felt like a soldier. Inside the facility, Deputy Director Sarah Vance waited in a conference room. Silver hair, sharp eyes, absolute authority. Major Frost. Please sit. Elena sat. Travers remained by the door. Vance set down her tablet. 12 years Army intelligence. 2 tours Afghanistan, 1 Syria. Silver Star, Bronze Star with Valor, Purple Heart. Discharged after your team was killed in Kandahar. Then civilian healthcare certification. 3 hospitals in 2 years. No incidents. Until tonight. Until tonight, Elena echoed. Tell me what happened. Elena recounted the resuscitation. The pericardiocentesis. The tactical decision-making that exposed her. Vance nodded. Anyone with military medical background would recognize it immediately. And someone did. They ran your face through federal databases 23 minutes after the patient went to surgery. Who accessed it? We're tracing it. But it's sophisticated. Likely connected to the Ortiz cartel. They've corrupted law enforcement contacts. Vance showed Elena a photo. Mateo Ruiz. Regional Logistics Coordinator for Ortiz. Former Mexican Federal Police. Smart, paranoid, violent. If he thinks you interfered, he'll retaliate. Against me. Against you. Against the hospital. Against anyone. Silence. What about the staff? Elena asked quietly. We're coordinating security. But the best way to neutralize the threat is relocation. New identity. Witness protection. Elena stared at her. I just disappear. Yes. And the people I worked with? I just leave them behind. Major Frost, you knew this day would come. This is the cost of trying to live normal after what you've done. Elena closed her eyes. What if I don't run? What if I stay and help you bring Ruiz down? Travers stepped forward. That's not your job anymore. I'm already a target. If Ruiz thinks I'm operational, he's coming whether I run or not. The only difference is whether I'm prepared. Vance studied her. You're suggesting we use you as bait. I'm suggesting I'm already bait. Question is whether you're going to waste that. Silence. Vance exchanged a look with Travers. It's dangerous. You're not trained for undercover anymore. I'm not afraid, Elena said. I've been afraid for 2 years. It's too late now. Either I run and spend my life looking over my shoulder, or I finish this. Vance leaned back. 48 hours. You go back to the hospital. Act normal. We'll have surveillance in place. When Ruiz makes contact, we grab him. Understood. If this goes wrong, you're on your own. I've been on my own before. 20 minutes later, Elena was back in the SUV heading toward the city. At 6:47 a.m., she walked back through the sliding doors of St. Jerome's. Pam's eyes went wide. Elena? I thought. I'm back. I'll explain later. Elena picked up her badge and clipped it on. Dr. Harlan saw her and froze. She met his eyes across the floor. Neither spoke. But the message was clear, she wasn't leaving. At 11:43 a.m., Elena's phone buzzed. Subject is awake. Asking questions. Situation fluid. Luis Delgado was conscious. If he told Ruiz about Elena, it would confirm suspicions. 12 minutes later, the overhead speaker crackled. Security alert. Unauthorized visitor attempting to access ICU, 4th floor. Elena moved immediately toward the stairwell. 4th floor. 2 security guards blocked a man in his late 20s. Leather jacket. Angry. I just want to see my cousin, Luis Delgado. Sir, visiting hours don't start until noon. The man's hand moved toward his jacket. Elena was 15 feet away. She saw the motion, the shift of weight, the angle. He was armed. She moved fast. 3 strides. Caught his wrist as his hand reached the weapon. Her grip hyperextended his wrist. The gun, a compact 9mm, clattered to the floor. Elena swept his legs and brought him down, knee in his spine. Don't move. He cursed in Spanish, thrashing. She applied more pressure. I said don't move. He went still. The guards radioed for backup. Travers appeared 30 seconds later with 2 agents. He assessed the scene, his expression hard. Major, I told you to stand down. He was armed. The guards didn't see it. Travers cuffed the suspect and hauled him up. The man glared at Elena. You made a mistake, Purra. You have no idea who you're messing with. Elena stared back. Actually, I do. In an adjacent office, Travers interrogated the suspect, Carlos Reyes, mid-level enforcer for Ortiz. Deputy Director Vance was on speakerphone. We found a text on his phone. Sent 40 minutes ago, handling the nurse. We'll confirm when done. Elena's stomach tightened. This confirms Ruiz is targeting Major Frost. We need to pull her out. No, Elena said. Major. If I leave, they'll just wait. And hit the hospital when I'm not here. I brought this here. I don't walk away until it's finished. Vance was silent. Then, Agent Travers, assessment? She's right. If we pull her, Ruiz goes underground or escalates. If she stays, he'll make another move. We'll be ready. Lock down the hospital. Plainclothes agents on every floor. If Ruiz sends another team, intercept before they get close. At 2:37 p.m., Elena returned to the ER. Pam pulled her aside. Elena, what the hell is happening? I can't explain. But I need you to trust me. There are armed men trying to get in. People are scared. I know. Keep the staff calm. If you see anything unusual, tell security immediately. Don't handle it yourself. Promise me, Pam. Pam swallowed. I promise. At 6:52 p.m., Elena's phone buzzed. We intercepted another message. Ruiz is moving tonight. Location unknown. Stay alert. Elena closed her eyes. It was coming. Elena clocked out at 7:11 p.m. but didn't leave. She changed into street clothes and moved to the second-floor staff lounge with a clear view of the entrances. At 7:43 p.m., her phone buzzed. Movement detected. 2 vehicles southbound. Possible surveillance. Stay internal. At 8:21 p.m., the first vehicle, a dark sedan, pulled into the parking lot, circled once, and parked in a far corner. Visual confirmation. 2 occupants. Male. Observing. They were waiting. At 9:04 p.m., a white panel van arrived at the rear service road. Second vehicle at rear entrance. 3 occupants. 1 exiting. Moving toward loading dock. Elena left the lounge and descended to the ground floor. The rear corridor was dimly lit. She heard voices at the loading dock. 2 men argued with a maintenance worker. Just need to deliver medical supplies. We have the invoice. I didn't get notice. You need to go through receiving. The second man's hand shifted inside his jacket. Elena stepped forward. Excuse me. All 3 turned. I'm from the ER. We're not expecting deliveries. The first man's face hardened. Who are you? I work here. Who are you? The second man's hand moved fast. Elena closed the distance, caught his wrist, twisted hard. The gun came free. She stepped back, keeping it low. The first man lunged. Elena sidestepped, drove her elbow into his solar plexus. He folded. Call security, she told the maintenance worker. The second man reached for her. Elena swept his legs, put him on the ground with a joint lock. Travers and agents appeared, weapons drawn. FBI. Hands where we can see them. They cuffed both men. Travers took the weapon from Elena. You were supposed to stay internal. I was internal. They came to me. He glanced at the suspects. Ruiz is getting desperate. Elena's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. You can't protect everyone, soldier. We're already inside. Her blood went cold. She showed it to Travers. His face hardened. When did you? An alarm shrieked. Code Silver. Active threat in the building. All personnel initiate lockdown. Travers shouted into his radio. All units, report. 3rd floor, East Wing. Shots fired. Multiple hostiles. The transmission cut off. Elena ran. 3rd floor. Chaos. Patients screaming. Gunfire echoing. Elena hit the stairwell at a sprint, reached the 3rd floor, pushed through the door. Smoke drifted. 2 bodies near the nurse's station. She moved low, using doorways for cover. A man appeared, armed, ski mask, tactical vest. He saw her, raised his weapon. Elena dove into a patient room as gunfire tore through the hallway. Empty room. She grabbed a metal 4-pole, tested its weight. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. The gunman was clearing rooms. Elena waited by the doorway. Counted. 3 rooms. 2. 1. The rifle barrel appeared. Elena struck, drove the pole into the rifle, knocking it upward. Shot into the ceiling. She slammed the pole into his wrist. Weapon clattered. He reached for a sidearm. Elena struck his throat, swept his legs. He went down gasping. She kicked the rifle away, grabbed his sidearm, leveled it at his head. Don't move. Travers and his team stormed in seconds later. Clear. Travers reached Elena. Are you hurt? No. Another burst of gunfire from the West Wing. They're splitting our response, Travers said. Coordinated assault. Elena's mind raced. They're looking for me. This is tactical. Ruiz is trying to draw me out. Then we end this. Now. For 23 minutes, the hospital was a battlefield. SWAT cleared floor by floor. Elena moved through the chaos, helping trapped staff, evacuating patients, neutralizing threats. She found a second gunman on the 4th floor trying to access the ICU. Disarmed him with a fire extinguisher and knee strike. Found a third in the stairwell. He tried to run. She didn't let him. By 10:47 p.m., it was over. 4 suspects in custody. No civilian casualties. 3 staff injured, none critical. Elena stood in the ER, covered in dust and sweat. Travers approached. It's done. We got them all. Elena shook her head. No. We got the ones he sent. Ruiz is still out there. We'll find him. Will you? Or will he just send more? Elena looked around at the frightened staff, the shattered safety. She made a decision. Set up a meeting. With Ruiz. Face to face. That's insane. It's the only way this ends. Travers stared at her. You're talking about walking into a trap. I'm talking about finishing what I started. The safe house was 40 minutes outside the city. Elena sat across from Deputy Director Vance at a metal table. Travers stood by the window. This is a mistake. Vance studied photographs of Ruiz. Your objection is noted. She's been out of operations for 3 years. Ruiz is a professional killer. I'm aware. Vance looked at Elena. But Ruiz won't stop. He's proven that. He wants Major Frost dead. Either he succeeds or we stop him. I'm right here, Elena said quietly. And I'm not asking permission. Vance leaned forward. What are you proposing? We offer a trade. Me for information. Tell him I'll meet him alone in exchange for him leaving the hospital out of this. He'll never believe you're alone. He doesn't have to. He just has to want it badly enough. Travers shook his head. When you're standing in front of a man who's killed dozens, what then? Then I do what I was trained to do. Vance pulled out a GPS tracker, a small black device. You wear this. Surveillance team within half a mile. If it goes sideways, we move in. What if he sweeps for electronics? It's passive. He won't find it unless he's looking specifically. And if he is? Then you're on your own. At 2:17 p.m., the message went out through one of Ruiz's intermediaries. Elena Frost will meet Mateo Ruiz. Alone. Neutral location. 1 hour. In exchange, he leaves the hospital alone. Permanently. Response came in 23 minutes. Warehouse District. Pier 7. 6 p.m. She comes alone or everyone dies. Travers read it. He'll have a dozen men. He'll try to kill you immediately. Elena's voice was steady. Then it's good I've survived worse. At 5:43 p.m., Elena stepped out of a black sedan 3 blocks from Pier 7. Doc jeans. Fitted jacket. Boots. No visible weapons. The tracker was embedded in her left boot heel. She walked toward Pier 7, abandoned warehouse, 3 stories, corrugated steel. A man with an AR-15 stood at the entrance. Phone. Elena handed it over. He powered it down, pocketed it. Inside. Elena walked in. The warehouse was cavernous. Dim light. Stacks of shipping containers creating narrow corridors. 6 armed men waited. And at the center, beside a metal desk, Mateo Ruiz. Shorter than expected, 5'8", lean, sharp features, cold eyes. Expensive suit. Major Frost, he said. Or should I call you Elena? Or nurse? Elena stopped 10 feet away. Call me whatever you want. Ruiz smiled. Direct. No games. I like that. He gestured to his men. They wanted to kill you immediately. But I said, let's talk first. What do you want to talk about? About whether the stories are true. That your army intelligence. Tactical medic. Very dangerous. He tilted his head. That made me curious. I saved Luis because it was my job. That's all. Ruiz laughed coldly. Your job? Nurses don't perform battlefield procedures. Don't disarm gunmen. Don't fight assault teams. He stepped closer. So let's stop pretending. You're here because you know I'll keep coming. Then let's get to it. You think you can take me? Here? With 6 armed men. I think you're not going to kill me. Because you don't know if I'm still operational. You don't know what I've told the FBI. That uncertainty is eating you. Ruiz's jaw tightened. So here's what happens, Elena continued. You call off your people. Leave the hospital alone. I walk out and you never hear from me again. And if I refuse? The FBI raids every property you own in 12 hours. Freezes accounts. Arrests associates. Supermax prison for life. You're bluffing. Try me. Silence. Ruiz pulled out his phone and showed her the screen. A live video feed of St. Jerome's Hospital. The ER entrance. Elena's heart stopped. I have people watching right now, Ruiz said quietly. Waiting for my signal. If I don't call them off, they walk in with C4. Enough to level the ER. Elena's voice was ice. You're lying. Am I? He zoomed in on a figure near the ambulance bay. That's Miguel. Former Special Forces. Very loyal. 3 kilos of C4 and a dead man switch. If I don't send the all clear, he walks in and kills everyone. Elena calculated. Angles. Odds. Possibilities. Ruiz smiled. So here's my offer. You die here quietly, and I call off Miguel. The hospital survives. Or you fight, and everyone burns. Silence. Elena looked at the armed men. At Ruiz. At the phone. Then she smiled. You made a mistake. Ruiz frowned. What? You assumed I came alone. Elena raised her hand and tapped her ear, where a nearly invisible earpiece was hidden. Now. The warehouse doors exploded inward. FBI tactical teams poured in from 3 directions. Flashbangs. Smoke. FBI. Drop your weapons. On the ground. Ruiz's men spun, rifles raised. Red laser dots painted their chests. Drop them. Weapons clattered down. Ruiz stared at Elena, face contorted with rage. You. Elena drove her fist into his solar plexus. He folded. She caught his phone before it hit the ground. On screen, Miguel stood at the hospital, waiting. Elena brought the phone to her ear. Miguel. This is Major Elena Frost. Your employer is in custody. If you proceed, you'll be arrested or killed. If you walk away now, you have a chance. Your choice. She waited. Miguel looked around. Confused. Uncertain. Then he turned and walked away. Elena lowered the phone. Travers appeared beside her. You okay? It's over. Ruiz was cuffed on the ground. He looked up at her, eyes full of venom. This isn't over. There are others. Elena crouched down. Let them try. She stood and walked out of the warehouse. 4 hours after the warehouse, Elena sat alone in a federal conference room, staring at an unopened water bottle. Deputy Director Vance entered with a folder. How are you feeling? Elena looked up. Tired. Understandable. Vance opened the folder. Ruiz is cooperating. He's given us names, locations, financial routes. By morning, the Ortiz cartel's regional operations will be neutralized. Elena nodded. Good. Luis Delgado is also cooperating. Protective custody. Between him and Ruiz, we have enough to bring down a dozen operators. That's good too. Vance studied her. You don't sound pleased. Elena leaned back. I'm glad you got what you needed. I'm glad people are safe. But this isn't a win for me. This is just the end of something I never wanted to start. Vance closed the folder. You did well, Major. You saved lives. You handled an impossible situation. I handled it because I had no choice. We always have choices. Elena's voice hardened. Do we? 3 days ago, I was just a nurse. Invisible. Safe. Now everyone knows who I am. What I am. I can't go back to that hospital. I can't go back to that life. So what choice did I really have? Vance was quiet. Your cover is burned. St. Jerome's isn't an option. Neither is any other hospital. I spent 3 years building a life without violence. I thought I was done. But it's too late now. I'm sorry. I know this isn't what you wanted. But people like you, people with your skills, you can't just disappear. The world doesn't let you. Elena looked down. What happens now? Vance pulled out a second folder. That depends on you. Elena stared at it, but didn't touch it. You have 3 options, Vance said. Option 1, full witness protection. New identity, new location. You disappear completely. And option 2. Private sector. Security consulting, medical training, corporate risk assessment. Autonomy. Good pay. But no federal support. And option 3. Vance tapped the folder. You come back. The FBI is expanding its tactical medicine program. We need field medics with combat experience who can operate in high-threat environments. People like you. Elena stared at her. You're offering me a job. I'm offering you purpose. A way to use what you know without hiding who you are. I left that world for a reason. I know. But I think you've realized something. You're not built to stand on the sidelines. You're built to be in the fight. And whether you like it or not, the fight finds you. Elena closed her eyes. Images flashed. The trauma bay. The warehouse. The hospital staff looking to her for answers. Deeper, Kandahar. Her team. The ambush. The blood. 3 years running from those memories. I need time. Vance nodded. Take all you need. But Elena, whatever you decide, know this, you saved lives this week. Not because you had to. Because you chose to. That matters. She stood. Your team in Kandahar would be proud. Elena's throat tightened. Vance left. Elena sat alone, staring at the unopened folder. At 11:34 p.m., Elena walked outside. Travers was smoking a cigarette. Thought you quit, she said. I did. 3 times. He offered the pack. No thanks. He took another drag. What did Vance say? She offered me a job. You take it? I don't know yet. For what it's worth, I think you should. You're good at this. You really think I should go back to that life? I think you never left. He dropped the cigarette. The best operators aren't the ones who love the work or hate it. They're the ones who understand that some fights are worth having, even when they cost you everything. What if I don't want to fight anymore? Then you don't. And no one will judge you. He paused. But I don't think that's who you are. At 1:47 a.m., Elena returned to her apartment. Small. Sparse. Never permanent. Her phone buzzed. A text from Pam. Elena, I don't know where you are. But everyone here wants you to know, you saved us. Thank you. Please be safe. Elena read it 3 times. Then she opened her contacts and scrolled to Colonel Rita Marsh. U.S. Army Intelligence. Retired. Marsh had been her commanding officer in Afghanistan. Elena typed, Colonel. It's Elena Frost. I need advice. Response came 2 minutes later, about damn time. Call me. Elena pressed dial. Marsh's voice came through, gruff, warm. Frost. Where the hell have you been? Hiding. How's that working out? Not great. Marsh laughed. Yeah, I didn't think it would. So what happened? Elena told her everything. When she finished, Marsh was quiet. Then, sounds like you reminded yourself who you are. I don't know who I am anymore. Bullshit. You're Elena Frost. A soldier. A medic. Someone who saves lives even when it costs everything. That doesn't change because you wore scrubs instead of a uniform. But I don't want to carry this anymore. Then put it down. But before you do, ask yourself, if you walk away and someone gets hurt because you weren't there, can you live with that? Elena saw the faces at St. Jerome's. Pam. Dr. Patel. The patients. Luis Delgado, alive because she refused to let him die. No, she whispered. I can't. Then you already know what to do. At 8:03 a.m., Elena walked back into the FBI command post. Vance looked up, surprised. Elena placed the folder on the table. I want to know more about option 3. Vance didn't smile, but something flickered in her eyes. Approval. Sit down. Let's talk. 3 weeks later, Elena Frost clocked in for her final shift at St. Jerome's Hospital. The administration had granted her one last night. Closure, they'd called it. For Elena, it was the only way to say goodbye. The ER was busy. Car accident, 4 trauma patients. Diabetic emergency. Child with severe asthma. The organized chaos Elena had learned to navigate. She worked her assignments without fanfare. Started IVs, administered medications, reassured families. Quiet. Efficient. Present but invisible. Most of the staff knew this was her last night. The official story: personal reasons, career change, relocation. Pam knew more than most, but not everything. At 2:17 a.m., during a lull, Pam found Elena restocking a cart. "Can we talk?" They sat in the break room. Pam folded her hands. "I need to know you're going to be okay." "I will be." "Where are you going?" "I can't say." Pam's face tightened with frustration. "Elena, you saved lives here. You saved my life during that lockdown. And now you're just leaving. Without explanation." Her voice broke. "I feel like I never really knew you." Elena was quiet. "You knew the parts that mattered. You knew I cared about patients. You knew I showed up. You knew I tried to do the right thing. But I didn't know who you really were." "Does it matter?" "Of course it matters." Elena leaned forward. "Pam, I've been a lot of things. Some I'm proud of. Some I'm not. But the person I was here, the nurse you worked beside, that was real. That wasn't a lie. But it wasn't the whole truth." "No. It wasn't. And I'm sorry. But the truth would have put you in danger. Everyone in danger. I couldn't risk that." Pam's eyes glistened. "So what now? You just disappear." "I don't disappear. I move forward." "To what?" Elena hesitated. "To something I should have done a long time ago." "I don't understand." "You don't have to. But I need you to know, working here with you with this team, it reminded me why I chose nursing. It reminded me that healing matters. That people matter. I won't forget that." Pam wiped her eyes. "You're going to make me cry in the middle of a shift." Elena smiled faintly. "Then let's get back to work." At 4:52 a.m., Dr. Harlan found Elena at the nurse's station. He stood beside her, not speaking. Finally, "Frost." She looked up. "Dr. Harlan. I heard this is your last shift." "It is. Can we talk?" "Privately." She followed him to an empty consultation room. He shifted uncomfortably. "I owe you an apology." Elena blinked, surprised. "I was wrong. About you. About your judgment. About your capabilities. I let my ego cloud my assessment, and people almost died." "People didn't die. That's what matters." "But they could have. That patient, the GSW, you were right. You saw what I missed. Instead of listening, I dismissed you." He paused. "I've been practicing emergency medicine for 23 years. I thought that gave me the right to be certain. But certainty without humility is just arrogance." "Why are you telling me this now?" "Because I looked into your background. After the FBI took you. After the lockdown." He met her eyes. "I know who you were. What you did. And I understand now why you were able to do what you did." Elena's jaw tightened. "Dr. Harlan. I'm not asking you to confirm anything. I'm just saying I understand." He exhaled. "And I'm sorry. For belittling you. You deserved better." Elena was silent. "Apology accepted." "Where are you going?" "I can't say." "Will you be practicing nursing?" Elena thought about the FBI's tactical medicine program. Training. Field work. Missions blurring healing and combat. In a way. Harlan extended his hand. "Good luck, Frost. And thank you for everything." Elena shook it. "Take care of your team. They're good people." "I will." At 6:38 a.m., Elena cleaned out her locker. A spare set of scrubs. A stethoscope. A photograph, creased, faded, of her old army team in Kandahar. 5 faces smiling. Exhausted and alive. Only one still breathing. Elena stared at it, then folded it carefully and placed it in her jacket pocket. She closed the locker and walked out. Dr. Patel caught her in the hallway. Elena, wait. He looked nervous, holding a coffee cup. I just wanted to say you taught me more in 8 months than 4 years of medical school. Elena's expression softened. You'll be a good doctor, Patel. You care. That's the most important thing. Will I see you again? I don't know. He nodded, looking down. Well, thanks. For everything. Take care of yourself. She turned toward the exit. The ambulance bay doors slid open. Cold morning air. Rain and asphalt. Elena stood on the threshold, looking back at the ER, bright lights, movement, the constant hum of life and urgency. For 2 years, this place had been her refuge. Her escape. Her penance. Now it was time to let it go. A black SUV was parked at the curb. Agent Travers stood beside it. Ready. Elena took one last breath, then nodded. Yeah, I'm ready. She climbed in. The vehicle pulled away. Elena didn't look back. 6 hours later, she stood in a conference room at the FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia. Deputy Director Vance addressed a dozen recruits, former military medics, paramedics, nurses, all with similar backgrounds, similar scars. Welcome to the Critical Incident Response Medical Program. Over the next 12 weeks, you'll be trained in advanced trauma care, tactical casualty management, hostage rescue medicine, high-threat operations. You'll learn to operate in conditions most medical professionals never encounter. You'll save lives in places where most wouldn't survive. Vance paused, scanning the room. You were chosen because you've proven you can handle pressure. You've demonstrated competence under fire. But this program will push you further. Some won't make it. That's reality. Her eyes landed on Elena. But for those who do, you'll become part of something larger. You'll be the difference between life and death in situations demanding courage and precision. You'll carry that responsibility every day. Vance closed her folder. Questions. Silence. Report to Medical Building 3 at 0600 tomorrow. Dismissed. The recruits filed out. Elena remained seated, staring at the table. Travers appeared beside her. You okay? I was just thinking. About what? About how many times I've started over. How many versions of myself I've tried to be. And Elena stood, slinging her bag over her shoulder. Maybe this time, I'm finally becoming who I was supposed to be. Travers smiled. I think you already were, Major. You just needed to remember. That night, Elena sat in her temporary quarters, small dorm room, bed, desk, window overlooking the academy. She pulled out the photograph and propped it against the desk lamp. 5 faces. 4 ghosts. 1 survivor. I'm back, she whispered. I don't know if this is what you would have wanted, but it's what I need. She opened a message to Pam. I'm safe. I'm where I need to be. Thank you for everything. Take care. E. She hit send. Then she turned off the light and lay down. Outside, the academy was quiet. The world continued turning. And Elena Frost, soldier, medic, nurse, survivor, finally stopped running. 3 months later. The call came at 2:14 a.m. Elena was in the operations center when the alert flashed. Active shooter, federal courthouse, hostages confirmed, casualties reported. Deputy Director Vance's voice cut through the room. CRM team, you're up. Wheels up in 10. Elena grabbed her medical pack, checked equipment, and moved toward the helicopter pad with her unit. As the rotor spun up and the aircraft lifted into the night, she looked down at the city below, lights scattered like stars, lives intersecting and diverging, chaos and order existing side by side. She thought of St. Jerome's, of Pam and Dr. Patel and everyone she'd left behind. And she realized something. She hadn't left them at all. She'd just found a different way to keep the promise she'd made the first day she put on scrubs. To care. To heal. To protect. No matter the cost. The helicopter banked hard and disappeared into the darkness. Elena Frost was no longer running. She was flying toward the fight. And this time, she wasn't afraid.